Hi everyone, you're watching Tammy Saleh's Tennis Forum and welcome to part 2 of today's special. We've just had a thrilling Australian Open final. If you want to check out my analysis of that, I'll be putting a link up here somewhere and also in the description below. But in this part 2 video, we are going to be looking at the live ATP rankings and race a day before it officially comes out. So yeah, this is the channel to be, I hope. If you haven't already, please do subscribe for future videos, additional content during the Grand Slams. And before I say let's roll the intro, I just like to give a fun fact that with Djokovic winning his 17th slam at the Australian Open, all three of the big three players have won the 17th slam at their favourite court. So Rafa won his 17th at the French Open, Roger won his 17th at Wimbledon. And yeah, it's all at very similar ages as well. Rafa and Novak, both 32, winning their 17th slam, and Roger a couple of years younger at 30 when he was a 17th time champion. However, the purpose of this video is to look at the live rankings and race. We have a new world number one. So yeah, without further ado, let's roll the intro. So after that thrilling 5-set final, Novak Djokovic defeating Dominic Thiem, we have a new world number one in the form and name of Novak Djokovic. He's world number one on 9,720 points, just over 300 ahead of the now world number 2 Rafa Nadal on 9,395. They are still quite far ahead of the rest of the pack. Let me know if you think this is going to be another season where it's just going to be a battle between Rafa and Novak in both the slams and the race for the world number one. Novak, of course, defending his Australian Open title. Rafa losing points as he fell in the quarterfinal this year compared to a runners-up spot last year. Novak also benefiting from an additional 660 points from the ATP Cup. There was a lot of questions asked whether or not the ATP Cup would be a help or a hindrance. It seems like it's not been a hindrance at all for Novak Djokovic. Roger Federer remains in third due to Dominic Thiem not winning the Australian Open. He is on 7,130 and Dominic Thiem very close behind now, less than 100 points behind. He's on 7,045, so he could soon potentially overtake Roger as well. Just to cap off the top 8, Daniil Medvedev on 5,960, Stefanos Tsitsipas on 4,745, and then Sasha and Berrettini closing off the top 8. In terms of the top 20, the biggest riser was Nick Kyrgios. He gained 6 places. He's now entered the top 20 again in exactly 20th spot. So let's see if he can maintain his good behavior, let's say, and attitude for the rest of the season. I'm now going to move on to the race. This, of course, at this time of the year, it's not too important, but it's still quite interesting to look at. Novak Djokovic leaps and bounds ahead of everyone, unsurprising as he led Team Serbia to the ATP Cup victory and also winning the Australian Open now. He is on 2,665 in the ATP race. Dominic Thiem, of course, second place, 1,265. So, yeah, of course, coming runners-up in the Australian Open gives him 1,200 points. Then you've got Sasha, Federer, Rublev and Rafa. I just like to focus in on Rafa a little bit. He is on 610, meaning he's already over 2,000 points behind Novak in the race. I mean, look, the rest of the season is still to come, but that is a nice, healthy lead for Novak starting off the season. Roger Federer on 720 as well. I don't think he will be able to reach world number one. I really do think it's going to be between Rafa, Novak, and potentially during the Sunshine Double and the clay court, well, leading up to Wimbledon, I think Medvedev might have a chance. If he can bring back the form he showed at the latter half of last year, he's got a lot of points in the bank post Wimbledon. So yeah, he could really push on for world number one. I think if Dominic Thiem can continue his rich vein of form, he can do well as well. However, he is, I believe he does have a victory in Indian Wells, I believe, to defend, so he won't be gaining any points there with potentially in threat of losing some. But yeah, that's the live ATP rankings and race. Let me know what you think. Is it too early to be focusing on the race? Personally, I think it is, but it's still quite interesting to look at. The rankings, Novak Djokovic becoming world number one. That is going to be a very big objective for him, I believe, this year. He is on 275 weeks, going into his 276th week now. Only 35 weeks behind Roger. February is quite a quiet month in terms of tennis, so he won't really lose that spot there, I believe. And then, yeah, we have Indian Wells and Miami coming up. Novak Djokovic does not have many points to defend at all, really, in either of those tournaments. Even the clay, I think he won one Masters 1000. I believe it was Madrid. But yeah, before that, he's got very minimal points to defend. So I can quite easily see Novak Djokovic extending his lead to Rafa and the rest of the ATP. I'm going to keep it nice and short. I know we are all quite exhausted from that 4-hour long epic, the final. Breathtaking. If you haven't, then yeah, go check the highlights out first and foremost. But then do try check out my part 1 video as well, where I spoke about it. It was the, let's say, the easy person to predict to win. We all predicted, myself included, Novak Djokovic to win Grand Slam number 17. But boy, was it tough for him. And we are now officially entering such a interesting part of all their careers. As I've said many times, it's not about just winning one slam anymore. 17 plays 19 plays 20 now. So it's very interesting. I still don't think having the most slam earns a player the GOAT status. I think there's more to it than just the slam count. However, it is the most important number or argument towards that GOAT status. So very important to see how the slam race turns out. Do leave your comments below on what you think on the rankings, the race, who is going to be your top 8 for London. I know it's very early. I've already had my predictions. I think Chapo is really letting me down in that one. But yeah, as always, it's been a pleasure to broadcast or analyze the Australian Open with you guys. I've enjoyed making more content. I really do hope you guys enjoyed my coverage. It's been honestly a joy reading your comments, and I hope you guys don't stop. It's really fun interacting with you guys. That's why the channel is called a forum as well. But yeah, I'm going to wrap it up there. I will see you soon. I will be doing weekly videos, so please, if you haven't already, subscribe, and let's try hit 50 thumbs up to cap off the Australian Open. Part 2 is done. If you haven't, go check part 1 out. But thank you very much. See you soon.